Hello readers, many of you with whom I work on regressions nowadays and therapy segments have asked me to speak a little bit more about this book, Journey of Awakening. This book have been written I think around 3-4 years ago. The reviews of this book, two very interesting people have done. One is S.C. Burman. S.C. Burman, many of you who know the name S.C. Burman, he was one of the toughest police inspectors that Karnataka had seen. S.C. Burman was the former general director of police. S.C. Burman came to Bangalore, a former IPS by himself and a former general director of police. At that point of time, till the time S.C. Burman reigned his office, there was zero tolerance for any nonsense that would happen out in the state. And he was one of the best police inspectors that the country have received. The other person who did the review is a very interesting character, Sheila Anand, who is the Chief Executive Officer for Vipul Healthcare, formerly TTK Healthcare Limited. Many of you heard the name. Now, this book primarily talks about from death to birth. Where do we actually stay during this death to birth? It says it actually takes you through the journey of a whole host of movement in this phase. It talks about what happens when someone is in a deathbed, how to tame the soul and trust yourself, the return of the soul, the comeback, the reincarnation, the 5 steps, the second chance, the 4th chance, the 3rd chance, 5th chance, pre-birth, call for death, leave life for a purpose. Now, people who know me quite well, they know that this is one subject that I have been working for many years now and have been highly fascinating. Death is a beautiful place where each one of us have to visit. Now, currently wherever we are at this point of time in the body, in the earthly environment, this is a very temporary place for us. Now, this temporary place, we have all come for a purpose and we have chosen it. We have chosen this specific body, this specific activity that we are doing now. Everything for a lesson. Now, when we choose this body, then typically what happens is that there's a process of choosing it. And during this process, we are helped and guided by our mentors there as well. So, when an individual is taken into a trance kind of state, and in that state you actually try to find out that what exactly happens when a body leaves, how the body actually passes through that tunnel that we hear about. What happens when the body passes through the tunnel and then the body goes where? When we talk about so much about body, the actual realization is that the soul passes through the tunnel and the body stays back here because this is just a shell. So when the soul passes through the tunnel, or when the soul first enters the tunnel, whom all does the soul usually sees? Does the soul feel scared? Does the soul feel frightened? Or does the soul gets to see someone where the soul becomes comfortable? Does the soul actually, after crossing the tunnel at a lightning speed, reaches somewhere where the soul sees many of the old contacts that was there? But can they reach out to all of them? No, they can't. They can only reach out to few of them who are meant to be reached out. And then what happens? Then the soul actually undergoes lot of its own learning lessons based on lot of activities that have been done out here. The soul also gets through lot of understandings, lot of its movement in those classes, and there is where typically the soul undergoes a scenario where the soul goes through a series of journeys of learnings. Mind you, there is no sense of bitterness there. There is no sense of putting pressure onto someone to learn faster or slower. There is only sense of empathy, love, guidance. The higher conscious souls who are there, who actually handholds them to learn whatever mistakes have happened, so that next time it doesn't get repeated. So those actions actually happens. Those actions actually takes place, and once the soul is completely ready to move back, then is when the soul actually have to come back. Now there are some souls who takes time to come back, some souls who don't take time to come back. But whatever it is, keep in mind the time space doesn't work in the spirit world in the same way how we see it here. 400 years can be 4 seconds. It's like that. So even if the soul is not willing to come back to the earth to achieve the mission, the soul have to. Remember when we were small and sometimes we never used to go to swimming, but our parents used to say that yes, you have to go to swimming. It's like that. So the soul may take a delayed time, but their senior souls, their senior guides will ensure that they come back. There is no push, no pressure. You get a choice of what kind of body that you have to enter, and ultimately you come back. So Journey of Awakening is a book that will actually take you through various understandings of these kind of things that I spoke. It will not be in very detail, but you will get an overview from this book. And if you read this book, you will understand that whatever wrath that you have, whatever anger that you have, whatever sense of distasteful that you have, whatever sense of jealousy that you have, whatever sense of hatred that you have, these are all things that you should always and always avoid. If you do not avoid, you are just adding more and more debit balance in your account, which you will understand when you go back. It's your choice. It's your choice to understand that would you like to live a life of lot of love, lot of goodness, or would you like to lead a life where you would like to give more sorrow to people? It's your choice. This choice will make you understand that how you should actually lead the journey of your life towards the journey of awakening. It's a beautiful book. It's a must read for people. Even if you do not believe in afterlife or reincarnations, just pick up the book and read it once. You will understand the quantum load of subject that is there in the book. It is not because this book is written by me. And mind you, none of the books that I have written, I take even 1 rupee from there. All my books that I have written, the entire sales revenue goes in charity. There is not even 1 rupee that I have taken from my book. I vouch, I challenge, if anyone can prove that. My publisher's details are there, etc. etc. In all the books, you can always reach out to them and check what I stated. It's very important that you lead a good life. Journey of Awakening actually showcases that. In fact, when the review was been written by S.C. Burman, I was trying to understand a lot of his activities. He been a police inspector of that stature, what kind of things that he believed. And he was so much in tune when he read this book before writing the review. He said, I wish I knew all these things when in the initial days I passed out my IPS. Now, these are all very, very effective, powerful tools that one need to imbibe to run his or her life. So, understand the reason for your body, why you have come in this world. Whatever it is, try to do the best in the right and virtuous way. Now, even in the spirit world, it is known that the soul have to come back to the earth. But there is no push, there is no pressure. You do not get any pressure that, okay, you need to do it right away, you need to go right away, unless the soul is completely prepared. Unless the soul is completely prepared, even their super souls, super energies do not push them. So there is a method how the same thing need to be run out here in the earth. Do not try to showcase your power. Try to showcase your love. Great countries have been born through love and not through war or hatred. I think if each one of us believe this, we'll have a more peaceful family. We'll have a more peaceful surrounding. We'll have a more peaceful life amongst all of us. Wish all of you a great life ahead. Thank you so much.